Thank you.
Before
Thank you for having
we
us.
start questions, we'll have a little trailer, and then we'll go for questions and answers.
Can you see it? Is it beautiful? I hope we do better there. I hope Jasper was wrong, and we aren't the problem. I hope your lives there will be as happy as mine has been. Need a good guess. Everything we did, everything that happened so we could get here.
We've had to.
You called me every day for 6 years, and you left me to die in the fighting pits.
I'm so sorry. Every time that you do something horrible, you say you're sorry. And then you do it again. Am I a monster? Sam? Sam, your sister.
My sister died a long time ago.
Salvation comes from faith and good works. We haven't done anything yet. What's your name?
Clark Griffin. What's yours? From what I've seen, these people are happy. Their world works. We destroyed ours. If anyone needs a fresh start, it's us. Looks like the suns are eclipsing.
Stars align in the North Waves. It's time to run away.
There are worse things in this world than eclipse-induced psychosis. What's out there? There are things and people in these woods that want to stay. If you fall behind, you will. We have no idea how to survive down here.
The harder you fight, the faster you die.
But my child is out there, so I'm going to get her.
In my dreams, I see you come out and it frightens me.
These people are dangerous. We're gonna burn this world down, just like the last one. I believe you want to, Clark. I just don't believe you can.
Oh, look at that. This one's unlocked.
If I could, I'd go back and do things differently. But I can't. None of us can.
It's awesome.
Welcome to Satan.
Thank you all for being here. Frog in my throat.
Okay, so it's a very complex and deep narrative, and the arc of your character is really wide, and they've developed with the seasons. So could you tell us maybe what were the key moments in your characters' lives?
Thanks, Rich.
You want to?
I think, as we all know, Raven's a pretty complex kind of chick. But, you know, she's had so many defining moments on this show that really informed her in her journey. And for me, I'd say, you know, a big one for her would be coming down to Earth and essentially building a space pod and bringing herself to the 100 and then losing Finn and losing her best friend and ultimately her only family member, losing the loss of her leg and being paralyzed and learning to walk and live again in this new body in that sense. And then there was that one moment my mind got erased by an artificial intelligence and it had to be exercised out of me, and then it was still there. And so, you know, Raven has a lot of gone through a lot of mental journeys too, but then also overall finding a new family within the 100 because she's never really had one to begin with from the arc. I feel like that's probably the pillars of Raven Reyes.
That's pretty good.
Follow that.
I'm gonna try. Yeah, I mean, it started when he was a kid, and he got pretty ill, but his family is one of the poor families on the ark. They didn't have a lot of money, or whatever they used for monetary value on the ark. So I don't know.
I think it was rations.
Rations, like little hydrogen pods.
Yeah.
My dad decided to steal the medicine to save my life. He did that. They found out about it, and they ended up executing my father for that. My mom then started drinking very heavily and drank herself to death and told me that I am responsible for my father's death. I was about 9 years old.
Poor little Murphy.
Poor little Murphy. So that made him feel essentially worthless. I think it filled him, the worthlessness in him fills him with a lot of anger and a lot of self-hate. And he takes that self-hate out on others, and that's where you first find him in the series, taking out that hate on pretty much everyone in sight, including and not limited to peeing on people.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I did do that. So going further and forward with it, he's slowly kind of, the more he gets to know the rest of the 100, wasn't always the easiest road for them, but you guys, eventually I was kind of stuck by me eventually. Not always,
well,
but
you wouldn't die.
I just wouldn't die. Found a lovely lady by the name of Amori, and that was a big turning point for my character. It made him believe that maybe he could be more, that maybe he could be someone his dad might have one day been proud of. So he tried to redeem himself a little bit, not redeem himself, but assign himself to a little bit of a moral compass where he originally had none. He doesn't do perfect with that, but he tries, and now he's in a situation where he's about as weak as he's ever been. Where am I talking about, like, season 6 been seen or not? Season 6 has not been seen. So he's doing fine. He's doing great. Yeah, I got it. I'm gonna keep it to the end of season 5. He's doing fine. He's been shot a couple times, but he's a complicated man who still has a lot of hatred for himself, but he's trying his best.
Cool.
Thanks.
Okay, I'll hand the floor to you. Please, could you raise your hands when you want to ask a question so that we can pass on the mics? If you wish to ask questions in French, it won't be a problem, you can. Okay, don't be shy, go ahead.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming in Monaco.
Of course.
You
Thanks for
are
having us.
amazing. Thank you for being so inspiring.
Thank
so
you.
Can you share us a funny story that happened on set?
I mean,
The Lola bit.
obviously.
Okay. Lola Flannery, who plays Maddie on the show, who's our youngest actor, she decided to prank me this year on the middle of a night shoot because she gets to go home early on night shoots. She
has a bedtime
She has
curfew.
a bedtime curfew. Can't have her the whole night. So she thought, instead, like, Richard's going to be up till 7 a.m. anyway, working. He should also have to go in at 3:30 a.m. when he wants to go pee in his trailer. Put saran wrap down on my toilet seat. So when I went to pee, it went everywhere. I found out it was Lola, and I was like, good prank. I would have left it at that. But she insisted that she wanted to start a prank war, which was a huge mistake on her part, because if anyone knows anything about me, is I don't take things very lightly. So I put her through 2.5 months of mental torment of what day it was going to be that I got her back. And then on the last week of shooting, I found a way that will remain unnamed into her apartment while she was working. And I saran wrapped the entire room in saran wrap. And I saran wrapped the entire individual things, her bed, her dresser, Her entire walls.
Her walls?
Her walls, everything. The door to the room, so when you walk into the apartment, her bedroom door is closed and it's just saran wrap. And
She
she
took a
loves,
video.
yeah, she loves her stuffed animals. So to really show her I'm not one to mess with, I hung them from their necks with rope from the ceiling of her bedroom. And
Very Murphy-esque, I'll say.
And I cut off the head of a teddy bear that wasn't hers. That would have been too far. I bought a teddy bear, cut off the head, left it in a box with the head in the box, like in the movie Seven.
Yeah, because she's seen that.
I made her watch it because she wanted a hint of what was coming her way, and I was like, I don't know. I was like, have you ever seen Seven? And then she went and watched Seven. So that was a prank in itself that a 13-year-old should not watch Seven.
Just traumatized.
Her mom likes me. It's
Lola
cool.
was pretty traumatized up into this prank war too, because she'd come to set every day and be like,
She was
"Do
terrified.
you know what Richard's gonna do? Has he done it? What's he do? Has he done it?" And all of us are like, "You no."
You'll know when it happens.
You'll know.
So anyway, that's the funny story. Did you count?
Dark.
At least it's funny to me.
Dark, twisted fun.
The other one's gonna be worse. I told Lindsey the next one I'm gonna do, and it's way worse.
It's dark.
It's very dark.
So dark.
Don't start a war with me. I told her when she started, I said, you're gonna need to learn a lesson. Don't start a war that you can't win.
Well, she'll explain that to her therapist, I'm sure, in plenty of time.
I asked her mom, I cleared it with her mom on everything, and she was like, I'm pretty sure I put her therapist through worse.
Cool.
So it's all chill.
All right, anyone else? Any questions? Follow up?
Questions, comments, concerns?
Hello again.
Hi.
Yes, so I have a question. In real life, are you the same? Because in the series, you love mechanics and you're a bad guy. Just before you say you love pranks, so that's the same. But for you, you love mechanics to, I don't know, to repair a car, to...
You know, I'd say similarities. I mean, me and Raven do have one big difference in that I'm definitely smarter than her. She's... Thanks, guys. Wow. I mean, mechanics are cool. I've learned so much more because of Raven, and I've had to, and I, you know, maybe if I was a better actor, I actually need to understand what I'm doing in order to portray it accurately and look like I know what I'm doing. So because of Raven, I have a, not like accurately, but like I have to have some kind.
Just point me in a direction.
Yeah, well, you're very talented. I actually have to research things. So I would say she's broadened my my scope, my mind as far as like other interests. And I was gonna go to space camp for a while, so hopefully that still happens.
What?
Yeah, I tweeted them and they said I could come.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like you said in the show, I'm a bad guy.
Bad guy.
Yeah, it is.
And a Billie
I don't
Eilish
think,
fan.
yeah, Billie, I've heard any Billie Eilish fan out there. I don't think I'm a bad guy in real life. I think I'm a pretty stand-up individual.
Yeah, you just saran wrap 13-year-old girls' rooms and chop off their teddy bears' head. But sure, you're a great guy, Rich.
I feel like that's what she wanted.
What?
I think that's what she wanted out of the situation.
Every bad guy's motto? That's what they wanted.
Oh, that's dark. Oh, that's very dark.
Richard's a great guy. Stand up. Stand up.
Do you want me to stand up, or you're saying I'm gonna stand up?
Stand up.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't think Murphy and I are very similar. We have a similar sense of humor, for sure, but I think that's about where the similarities between him and I end.
Why do you look to me for confirmation?
Because I don't know myself.
You don't?
Not well.
You should explore that.
Nah, not interested.
Maybe not right now.
Yeah, Richard Harmon's not my favorite subject in life.
Okay.
Next question.
Hi. I don't know if it's a spoiler, but when will Raven be finally happy in love?
That laugh was the answer. Next question. What are you gonna say?
I don't know. Rich?
I got no takes on that. No takes there.
Well,
She don't
keep
need
watching.
no man to be happy. That's all I got.
I agree.
Hi. Thank you for being here. And I wanted to know, what do you want to happen to your characters in the coming seasons?
You know what? I want to be bad. I want to be a villain. Ooh. Wow. Hot take.
Really?
You know what? I will disagree.
Yeah, I disagree on that.
I disagree on that. Raven is very unlikable right now because she's pissed. Because
she's just upset.
she's mad at everyone.
She hasn't done anything, like literally anything
I
wrong.
haven't done anything, but I'm mad at what everyone else is doing.
You've done some
And
bad
so
things.
I haven't done anything bad. I've never done anything bad.
No, you're the real astute moral.
I'm the moral
You have
compass of the
immutable
show.
scruples.
I'm not Arrow.
Yeah.
But I would want Raven to do. You know what it is?
Bad actions.
Well, I want to see what pushes her to do something bad, do something evil, because that's what every villain has to do is they have to be pushed that level and make that choice and be motivated for a certain reason. So I want to know what Raven's price is basically, because everyone has one.
Fair enough.
That's what I want to do. What do you want to do?
Oh, that's right. That was the question.
That was the question.
Got it. What do I want to do? It depends. There's a lot of things like I want to do, and then there's how I think logically to make the character arc complete. What should happen, which is eventually he should die, because his whole arc is revolved around being the survivor. He is the survivor. That's what he does.
True.
He survives better than anyone. He's been in the worst situations, and he somehow squiggles his way out of them every single time. So one day I think he's got to go. I don't want that to happen. I certainly don't want it to happen anytime soon. But that's the only way I can see it making sense for that arc.
Sure. What? I'd be sad.
I'd be very sad. On that somber note.
This got real dark.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Ce serait pour savoir, Murphy, dans la série, tu ne penses qu'à ta tête, tu essaies tout le temps de survivre, mais ce serait pour savoir, est-ce qu'en vrai c'est pareil? Est-ce que tu t'es qu'un égoïste? Ça en rigoler.
Now I want to know.
Yeah, now I'm very curious.
Peut-être que si.
Am I gonna like this?
Peut-être que c'est imprégné du personnage.
I think I'm
Peut-être
gonna
que c'est
like
imprégné
it.
du personnage.
I think I'm gonna love this.
Lindsey's gonna love this.
Okay, so Murphy, hello? Okay, sorry. Murphy, all you think about in the series is survival and yourself. Is it the same in life? Are you selfish? I'm not sure you're gonna like this one, but you know.
Do you want me to answer for you?
I would love it if you did.
You're not selfish at all. You're very giving. Richard is probably one of the most giving actors to work with because, when you shoot a scene, you do like the master, and that's like everything. You see everything, right? And then you go into like the close-ups, and so when the camera's over here, it's on the back of my head, right? So it's like technically not your coverage. So sometimes when people are acting, they don't really give you the full emotion, or they're not as much in the scene because the camera's not on them. And every scene I've ever been with Rich, he's always going at 100 and giving me everything he has to work with. And I find that that's the mark of a very selfless actor in person.
Thank you.
It's true. You're great.
Okay, I'm not gonna taint it by adding anything to that.
And definitely not selfish.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a question. What is the most difficult scene you have to shoot?
Difficult scene to shoot.
Yes.
I've just had exhausting ones. I'd say it's a toss-up for me between the alley exorcism because it was so physically draining and binding, and also we were like on the 6th day at night shoots, and I'd be tied to a bed, and then it was to switch back and forth from raging out and being exercised to being like a very still and direct artificial intelligence, and then being evil. So that was just a lot of like turning and turning, but then back and forth, and also just being tired from yelling and like thrashing about. And also the water tank scene in season 4, that was just exhausting because I had, just the physicality of like freezing myself to death and then waking up and having a heart attack and throwing myself over this water tank, then have the heart attack on the ground, crawl to the edge of the room with one of my legs that doesn't work, find the defibrillator, put the stickers on my wet body in the right place, and then bring myself back to life. One zap.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again, and that was just a lot. I'm just tired.
Okay, well, I don't have that. The first scene of episode 1 of season 3, where I get to lose my mind in a bunker over 86 days, that was probably the most difficult. But also,
was it exhausting?
Oh yeah.
Really?
We spent 13 or 14 hours on that.
Wow.
We shot that thing. The first cut of that scene was 13 minutes long.
Wow.
Yeah.
You just gonna do whatever you wanted?
Whatever the hell I wanted.
That's great.
Yeah, seriously. Whatever.
That sounds fun.
For the whole time. Yeah, it was so much fun.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was the most fun I've ever had on set as well. It was the most difficult, but easily the most fun.
I can't remember, were things written or you just improvised?
It was like about a 4/8 of a page.
What did it say? Murphy lives in a bunker.
I think it actually said.
Murph's about.
It actually said.
Richard, improvise here.
We let Richard Harmon do his thing.
Really?
Yeah, it actually said that in the script.
You should frame that.
I should. That was nice.
You should.
Yeah, it's like let him do what he does. Let him go crazy.
I love that. Cool.
Hello, I have a question for both of you. Many questions actually. The first one is how did you start your career, both of you? And the second one is how is your work schedule organized? I mean, you shoot for like a month, 2 months, then you have a break, or how does it work? Thank you.
Sure. I started my career at the age of 10, professionally. Both my parents are actually in the business. My dad was a first AD for 30 years, now as a director. My mom was an accountant in film and then became like an actor at one point, and then now as a producer. So it was all I ever knew. Like I grew up on sets and I love it. My parents didn't want me to do it or my sister to do it because I think they see the challenges that come with it, and the likelihood of succeeding is not high, and they probably wanted better for their kids. But I think we did okay.
You're in the family biz, though.
We're in the family biz, so it's hard to escape it. Yeah. So that's where I started, and it took a long time before it actually got any traction, but I was glad that my parents just told me, everyone's time is different, and take a while. Plus I was a child, so it
What's
didn't
the
really
worst
matter.
thing you've done? Like, have you done some bizarre commercial somewhere?
No, because this face doesn't sell products.
Really? No. It's like mango juice.
No, not even as a kid. They wouldn't have me for
Nothing.
commercial auditions. No.
Nada.
No.
Oh.
No. And then, what was the other question?
Our schedule.
Oh, the schedule's like
schedule
6 months out of the year, and then we have a break for Christmas.
Yeah.
That's pretty much that.
I started my career, I guess, when I was 19. I was in college, and I just that's what happened. I was like, how did that happen? I was doing theater and political science in college, and my theater professor, you have like these kind of meetings, right, where they kind of talk about how you're doing, and my theater professor sat me down and said, Lindsey, I think you should consider doing film. And I don't know if that's because I wasn't doing well in theater or because he saw something for me. But I was like, oh, I really love this professor. And I was just like, oh, okay, I haven't really thought about that. And then my friend was interning at an agency because she was majoring in PR, public relations. So she like got me my agent in Austin, yeah. And then, took off from there.
Skyrocketed.
Yeah, and I dropped out and moved to LA.
Wow, good job.
Ballsy. And then schedule, yeah. Our schedules are different for every project versus TV.
Oh yeah, I was just talking about
movies.
the 100. It was
The
just the 6
100's
months.
6 months.
Yeah. I just thought that was the only was what it was about.
6 months on, 6 months off. But yeah,
Yeah.
everything changes.
I'm going to ask you the question you asked Richard. Did you do anything embarrassing as you started?
That's a good question.
Oh no.
Oh, that is like, I've done a lot of embarrassing things, just none of them were commercials.
Okay, maybe
Give it to us.
cocktail.
Give it to us.
There's a movie I did with my mom. My mom's in it. My mom is not an actor. And that's all I'm saying.
So I expect someone in here to go find that and tweet it to me because I also want to see it.
No. That's it. No comment.
Thanks for sharing.
Of course.
Next question.
Hi.
Hi.
There were several aspects of the show that made part of the fans react very violently at some point, and I was curious to know how you lived these periods and the rest of the cast. Did you have any kind of support to go through these periods?
Can you explain? What do you mean?
There were a lot of conflict on social media about some aspects of the show.
Okay. I mean,
that. Look, everyone's entitled to their opinion, right?
yeah, and everyone's entitled to feel hurt or feel whatever they need to feel, but I don't think it ever affected any of us in a negative way. We didn't need anything.
Sure, I mean, we would never want our fans to be hurt or feel harmed or harm themselves in that sense if they're triggered by something they see. That's never our intention. Our intention is to give you a hell of a story and a hell of an hour of entertainment, be it good or bad. Most of the time, art is to provoke emotion and to provoke moving something inside you, whether that joy, love, anger, rage, connection. So I think, everyone is going to have an opinion on what we've done over these years, but at the end of the day, I think we can all walk away from this and know that we've given you a hell of an hour of TV.
Agreed.
So, but we love, we are very grateful for everyone that watches.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate it. And we also appreciate the fan response and the fan outpour, support, good and bad. The fact that you're talking about it is important to us and beneficial for us as we make this and go on through the years.
Move forward afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, one last question. I'm afraid we are running out of time.
Bonjour, merci déjà d'être venu, c'est super bien. Et je voudrais savoir si vous aviez la possibilité d'avoir un autre rôle dans la série, lequel ce serait en fait.
Okay, so thank you very much for coming. It's a great pleasure to have you. If you could choose another part in the series, which one would it be?
I always change, but I also always say Jaha, because I just think he was crazy.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome. I also am in love with Diyoza, so I would love to be here. But I also I really enjoyed Octavia's arc over the seasons. I didn't dig her in the beginning, but just to see where that character has gone and become and grown, it's just really cool. I'd be down to do that. It'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I do the same. I change my answer to this question all the time.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Earlier today, I said Russell, who's a new character on our show, played by J.R. Bourne, who's incredible. Because there's the way they write for him, I just love these speeches he just goes off on. I'm like, I want to do that.
And they're gorgeous.
I just get the one-liner people, which
That
I also
voice.
love.
You got some mad
I got some good quips. I'm gonna change it on this one. I think I'm gonna go with what I've never actually said before, Monty. I don't know, because it's so out of.
I loved Monty in season 5 though.
I
wish we had more Monty.
Yeah, I agree, but
Yeah, he's
at the
great.
same token, I just don't think that's a character that people would generally ask me to play, and I'm curious to see what I would do with it. So for that reason, I'd say
cool
Monty.
Monty.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be cool to see.
Yeah. Shout out to Christopher Love, who's
Chris,
incredible.
we love you, Crit.
Okay, thank you very much. for answering all these questions. And
Thank you.
You can give them a great round of applause.
Thanks, everybody.